said, when you're shooting dove and over crops especially, you don't have a frame of reference for really how far that dove is. You're just looking off into the sky, and being able to judge that bird and just see it and know where to shoot and get your lead and everything, you got some skills, especially
without a bead.
Yeah, you see a bird and you're like, oh yeah, I got it, and then you shoot and you're like, he was way out there. On Friday, Tim sends us a video, and when I say there's thousands of dove in this field, there's tens of thousands of dove.
Let's just living the life, man. Maybe 1 year.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
He's got something. It looks like he got struck in the head with lightning.
But there's no way this deer
very messed up
is ever going to be legal in his life. Like, he's going to die of old age or getting hit by a car.
Tejas. Tejas Hunt Club Podcast is the podcast for you and you and you and you.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 43 of the Tejas Hunt Club Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon McDowell, also joined by my co-host today,
Megan McDowell.
And we have been busy, to say the least, over the last couple weeks now. As we record this podcast, we're in the opening week of deer season, so good luck to everybody that's already been hunting and that's going to be hunting for the rest of the season.
You see some good ones so far.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Give a shout out to Willie. We were giving him a shout out for his elk he shot a couple weeks ago, but he killed a pretty nice buck on opening weekend too. When I say Willie, I'm talking about Willie Waldrop. He's been on the podcast before. We share a lot of his stuff on our Instagram, so if you haven't checked out his page, you should. He's actually got a YouTube that he's out putting a lot of content on, so make sure you go check that out and give him a like and subscribe, as well as ours too. So we're doing this podcast, kind of doing a little recap of what we've been doing lately, which, like I said, has been a ton of stuff. As soon as dove season started, we kind of just started going.
Yeah, we hit the ground running pretty hard, definitely. 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, so we had the opening weekend. We had the Austin chapter of the Stewards of the Wild dove hunt on that. It was on Sunday and Monday, but we wound up just hunting that Monday. Mm-hmm. And, we did pretty good, I guess. We had a couple
all
birds.
Considered.
Yeah, and it was a lot of good people.
It was raining. It was kind of a crappy weather day.
But... Yeah, the weather didn't help us out that much, but we got to meet some pretty cool people that are also in the Austin Stewards of the Wild chapter, and we got to meet
ATX Outfitters.
I was just about to say it, but I can't remember his name right now.
Ty,
that's right. Ty with ATX Outfitters. He hooked us up.
Super nice guy. Very, very nice guy. He's open to opportunities for anybody that needs to get out in the outdoors more often. So it was nice to meet him and get to know him.
Yeah, and the birds were there. We just had to knock the rust off a little bit and just get in better spots. When you go out in the dove field, it's kind of hit or miss on whether you're in the spot where they're flying or not. And then like with the group that we were with, everybody was kind of already spread out, so you really didn't have like the option to really move around or anything like that. But we got a couple birds on the Dove Wrangler.
Yep.
So we got to test that out for the first time and got to meet some cool people. So after that hunt, we already knew, and I'll say this too, with that hunt, I just really wanted to get out and just shoot some birds, because I already knew like the next couple weekends I was really going to be hunting some birds. So I wasn't too worried about it. Like I said, we had a good time. And then, give a shout out to Ty's wife with those dove poppers.
Oh my gosh, yes. That was probably the best part. It was like whenever we were done, she brought out fresh dove poppers and sausage.
Yeah.
And they had some beverages. So it was a nice little wrap up. Like I said, it was a good experience altogether. Just kind of like getting to meet more people in our chapter. A lot of those member only events, sometimes you don't really understand. For Austin, it's a huge chapter.
Yeah.
So we had people that we've never even met before that are in the same chapter as us. So that was always nice to have that. And yeah, just a good start to the season.
For sure. So then we got to see everybody else's opening weekend dove pictures, got to see them down south for White Wing and up north and everything. And then we left that following Friday. So we hunted that Monday, and the Friday we left to go to Albany for the statewide dove hunt.
The statewide Stewards of the Wild dove hunt. Yeah, that's been our third year.
Yep.
Not together. We went together in 21.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 22. And then you went in 23.
Yep.
I went with you in this year. So it was like our third year to go. collectively. So this one is outside of just the chapters. There's a statewide membership, obviously, for all the chapters that are part of it. And the statewide chapter basically is everybody comes together. There's a lot of sponsors and collaborators and amazing chef, Jesse Griffith.
Yep.
So he is there every year cooking a nice meal for us. There's all kinds of giveaways and raffles. And so it's good hunting. Oh my goodness. They always set us up in some good spots.
Yeah. Yeah. The same guy's been outfitting this hunt since they started it. I can't remember his name right now, forgive me, but he's been outfitting this hunt up there, like I said, since they started, and he has great fields. It's all farmland, sunflowers this year. Mm-hmm. So they rotate the crops, of course, but this year was sunflowers, so that's always a game winner when you're dove hunting. Mm-hmm. So we had we hunted Friday afternoon.
Yeah. We got in Friday.
Yeah, got in Friday at check-in. Oh, and we missed like the coolest part about
so this year, I mean, every year you guys will see on our YouTube channel that we film and we take photos at this event. Pretty much all the events that we go to, we'll be filming our own content. This time we were actually taking photography for Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation. So Stewards of the Wild, if you guys don't know, is kind of the young adult sub brand or organization, if you will, of Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation, and they support the mission of the foundation. So that was really cool. Shout out to Katie, who got us hooked up with that. And so she's loved watching us work, and we were able to get a deal out of that this year. So we were able to take photos and capture our own video footage at the same time. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, it was. Hold on.
You sneeze?
No, not right now. Okay. It'll come in a minute.
All right.
But yeah, so that was a cool part about being able to hunt and create content for the Stewards of the Wild State Chapter as well. Mm-hmm. So Megan got some awesome photos.
Oh yeah.
I got some good photos.
Yeah.
She's always better than me. Like she's
she's
been doing it longer.
She's
been doing it longer, but I will say my photos the good ones may not be as many as Megan, but there's some bangers when I get them. There's some bangers. But we got to hunt that afternoon. That was a great afternoon. We shot a little over a limit and a half. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the birds were flying as soon as we pulled into the field, and you'll be able to check it out on our video. Just dropped on YouTube right now. So
yeah, part 1 is out.
After this podcast, part 1 and part 2 is out.
Oh, that's right. You released part 2 this week.
Yeah, so as we're recording this podcast, part 2 went out this afternoon.
Live.
Yeah, so both of them are live. Go check them out after the podcast. But as soon as we pulled in the field, there was birds flying, so we knew it was going to be a pretty good day. I mean, it's dove hunting to me is just hanging out, having a good time, trying to shoot birds out far when they're out there, just testing your limits and stuff.
We talked about that this time. Dove hunting is probably the most bird hunting. I mean, I've done a couple duck hunts, but dove hunting I've done a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never thought about how difficult it is compared to other hunting until I was talking to people who are upland hunters who are hunting for grouse and for quail in different situations where they're not, quickly flying ahead of you, where you don't have a measurement of any kind of reference on how close they are to you or how far away they are. You're looking up into the blank sky. Just never had thought about that. And so definitely made me feel like a more skilled shooter after having so much success.
And everybody should, because like you said, when you're shooting dove and over crops especially, you don't have a frame of reference for really how far that dove is. You're just looking off into the sky, and being able to judge that bird and just see it and know where to shoot and get your lead and everything, you got some skills,
especially without a bead.
Yeah, so pat yourself on the back if you're knocking down birds like that. But because like other hunters, if you're hunting grouse or anything like that, you're kind of
it's just different. It's not easier. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easier because I've never done it.
You get a better frame of reference if you're hunting where there's more trees or you have landmarks and things to be like, how far is that bird really? Because like you said, sometimes in the dove field, you see a bird and you're like, oh yeah, I got it. And then you shoot and you're like, oh, he was way out there. But yeah, so that first afternoon was awesome. We left a little bit early and to get back, take some more photos for the event. And that night is when we got to eat the wonderful Jesse Griffith's
ceviche
cooking.
And
we had the menu. It's
my gosh.
Nil guy chorizo and everything. Like it was just tacos, by the way. They were all different kinds of tacos. So
they were amazing. And all the different salsas that he had, coffee salsa, and like there was just a ton of go watch our YouTube video. You'll see how amazing those dishes were.
Yeah, it was awesome food as always. And then of course the main thing a lot of people are there for is
the
raffle. And, it's nice to give back to the foundation,
Yes.
especially when they have, cool things that are being given away. I'm talking shotguns,
pack mules,
Turtle Yetis,
box.
And Turtle Box, which we brought home another Turtle Box. So I was one of the raffle winners. And after all this time of trying to win a Turtle Box at these raffles, we bought one a couple months ago.
Yeah.
No
lie, we had just gotten one. The river,
the river rock color,
green,
so it's like the teal green color, and we've been years since Turtle Box came out.
We just have
I've been trying to win one
for it
because we go to a lot of events where they're giving them away. So like if I see a Turtle Box in a raffle, I'm most likely
all of our tickets go into the Turtle.
But then we finally just break down and buy one, obviously because I like the color and I didn't want to wait for a raffle to get that color. And then we go to the raffle and we win another one.
And for those who don't even know what a Turtle Box is, it is the ultimate outdoorsman speaker.
Yeah.
Like that's the best way for me to describe it. It is waterproof. It literally floats in water. You can dunk it in water and it won't mess up.
Playing.
The battery life is ridiculous, which I have to give them a shout out. They come charged. You get them out of the box and they're charged.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing. I was like, okay. And so we actually have, both of them have been running. I think we charged the green one once, but
maybe.
I don't know. But I mean, it's an amazing product. We have had so many people that have been out in the field using it. Barrett, our fisherman buddy, uses it. I mean, I think the only thing is that if it gets too hot, it will automatically shut down. But that's it. That's the only
electronic
thing.
Yeah. If you leave your phone out too long, it's
just a safety feature. But outside of that, it's pretty indestructible.
For sure. And we actually shared one of their story today. I mean, of course, listen to this podcast, about all the hurricane, Helene, and everything that's going on in the Southeast right now.
Yeah.
But Turtle Box right now is actually running a promotion that every Turtle Box that they sell, currently they're going to be taking part of those proceeds and they're going to be donating to those areas that are affected. So another reason to support Turtle Box. And that's the main, same thing with Montana Knife Company. That's why they have flag hanging here. Is companies like that obviously have great products, but then they're also standing behind the community and helping out too. So we like to definitely give them some support.
Yep.
But so won the raffle, Turtle Box. So that already is a solid weekend.
Dove plucking contest.
Oh yeah, the dove plucking contest. They do that every year with Jesse Griffiths because he is a master dove plucker. He is definitely one that likes to use the whole bird, and I get it. I want to one day maybe, but we had a lot of birds to clean, so I'll test that out another day.
We use more than most people. We usually get the heart and the breast.
Yeah,
because if y'all don't eat the heart of the dove, you are missing
they're pretty little tasty snacks.
And if you have if you have a couple limits, put them on a skewer.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I think that was the first way we did it when we first started doing it.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So did that, had amazing dinner, hung out, had some drinks afterwards. Well, I did. Megan didn't.
Yeah.
And then went and stayed at
We're just going to drop that. We haven't even talked about it on the podcast. It's only been on the YouTube. We have not talked about it on podcast. I don't think.
I have.
Oh, well, maybe I wasn't on that episode.
Yeah.
You can cut this out then. I thought we had.
Maybe not.
Well, if you don't cut this out, for those who don't know, we have a baby boy that we're expecting to join us in March. And so,
new member of Tejas Hunt Club Kids version.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. So, yep, he'll be here in March, but at least he will be old enough to be packed around next fall.
I mean, he's already getting packed around now.
Yeah. He went on his first hunt September.
With his mother. She took it away from me.
No, okay.
My fatherly duties.
I really don't have a choice. I had to go on a hog hunt. Okay? Sorry.
Yes, it is what it is. This time I'll forgive you.
Okay. So, finish the auction. What time we get up the next morning? 4:30 in the morning?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit after that, but around there. Before 5, for sure. Because then we had to, again, take pictures at breakfast and everything and get packed up because we were checking out of the hotel as well to go do the morning hunt, which awesome sunset. I think.
Oh my gosh, the light.
54 degrees or something
There's beautiful.
A lot cooler than it has been, and it just teased you a little bit.
The sunrise and everything. The region up there. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's mountains, but there's definitely hills, and there was a hill in the sunrise in front of the sunflower field, so it was very light, soft just orange, beautiful light coming over the hill. And so that was like one of the best mornings that I've ever had hunting, taking photography.
Yeah, that's some awesome photos.
Making some great photos, especially with bird dogs working and everything else. So it was fun. It was really fun. And then, of course, while I'm off taking photos, everybody's like, hey, is that your husband over there? Every bird that flies his way, he just knocks it right down. I'm like, yeah.
I will. You say that at that point, but at that first part of that morning, I was kind of struggling. And it was really, really upsetting to me because the day before I had a good day.
Yeah.
And then come that next morning and I'm like missing birds that I should be hitting. And then you went off to take pictures again, and then I just kind of posted up. I kind of moved spot, changed angles, and I just started kind of knocking them down. And then by the time you came back,
to say the least, you had a limit by the time I got back.
Yeah, and we weren't that close to that when you left. So
no, but it was a good time.
Yeah, another great hunt. Stewards of the Wild, man, great organization. If you're in around, I mean, Austin, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio,
Midland,
they all have chapters. stewardsofthewild.com or is it .org?
I think it's .org.
.org or Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation.
If you go to the foundation website, you should be able to find Stewards of the Wild.
And we'll drop
all the social medias too, because there's a chapter account pretty much for every single chapter. Yeah. And then the statewide as well.
Yeah. And then we'll drop the link to it in the description below for you to check it out. Or if you're on YouTube, it'll be down there too. Yeah. So great, like I said, great organization to join. I mean, you get to meet awesome people that love hunting and fishing just as much as you do. You get awesome events, you giveaways, and you get to raise money for Texas Parks and Wildlife, which, of course, is what our governing body of all things hunting and fishing in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
And if we don't, support it and also get involved, it leads to other people getting involved.
And it gets lost along with generations too.
Yep, exactly.
So it's important. I'm glad they started that organization for young professionals.
Yeah,
it's been growing.
It gives you a way to get in and get involved. Because I mean, before that, it's like, if you did want to get involved, you wouldn't know how.
Right.
You would either have to be on a board or something else, or in Austin, and this gives you an opportunity to be all around Texas and still represent Texas.
Oh, we didn't even mention Bryan College Station as well.
Bryan College Station is chapter 2, so check them out.
Yep.
But yeah, so like I said, great organization to be a part of. We like supporting them, and you should too.
And then the next weekend,
as you see, I'm rocking our new hat. Dude, Tim Willis, shout out Tim. He comes up with some pretty cool merch. I don't even know if I can call it merch because he doesn't sell it.
It's so exclusive.
Yeah, it's exclusive club El Patron dove hunt. And this is my second year going on this hunt. I was first invited by Mr. Brandon Bredermeyer, who's been multiple time guest on the podcast with SCI West Texas and SCI, the national organization as well. So he invited me on this dove hunt last year. You can check out that video, the Stewards of the Wild. So last year, I went to the Stewards of the Wild.
It was the same weekend.
Dove hunt, because it was the same weekend on Friday. Hunted Saturday morning. Then I drove up to Lubbock for El Patron.
Mm-hmm.
This year is on separate weekends. So that means I got to spend extra time with my friends out in West Texas. This is just a great group of guys and a couple girls. Tim and Ed's daughters, they go on this trip too. But just a great group of bird hunters, like guys that really love shooting birds. I mean, they all dove hunt, they duck hunt, and I mean, they're outdoorsmen overall. They hunt, fish, and everything else, but they really love bird hunting, and I get to get my fix of bird hunting with them. So I'll have to get Tim on the podcast. I really want to, because I kind of want him to tell his story.
I was going to say, you can't tell all the stories without him being part of it.
I'm going to give you the short version of this. So Tim does this hunt in memory of his father, who got him hunting. So that's why we call it the El Patron Dove Hunt, because that was his dad's nickname. So he invites us all up. We go to Lubbock, Texas, and we get to hunt with Crooked Wing Outfitters, which those are some awesome guys. If you're looking for a dove hunt up there, they definitely have the birds. No lie. I mean, ducks too. They do a bunch of different things. So give Crooked Wing Outfitters a shout if y'all want to do some hunting. But we go up to Lubbock. We stay in their lodge. We cook, I say we. I sous chefed a little bit.
Okay.
I sous chefed a little bit. I'm head of media at El Patron.
Oh,
that's my title. That's the title I'm gonna take. So Sean Polk, Curtis, like there's just like the list goes on and on. I can't name everybody, but we all get together, cook some awesome food, hang out, and kill birds. Last year it was like unbelievable, something like you would see in South Texas up there. Like Lubbock is got dove for sure, but this year it was just we hit it at the right time because the first day they were up there Thursday and they saw a bunch of birds in one field that they were hunting, but the field that we were going to be hunting the weekend was unbelievable. As I was driving up on Friday, Tim sends us a video, and when I say there's thousands of dove in this field, there's tens of thousands of dove.
Looked like Argentina.
It looked like something out of a horror movie, but
birds,
but we're dove.
Yeah,
so it wasn't that bad. It wasn't crows. It was just dove. So we go out and hunt Friday afternoon, and it is just birds everywhere. I thought I saw birds. We were pulling in the Stewards of the Wild Hunt, but it was just madness as soon as we pulled into the field. We get set up, and I mean, they're flying 10, 12 feet over your head, just not even giving a care in the world about you really being there until we started shooting, and then they kind of like, they figured out the game. But, I mean, I think I had a limit, I don't know, maybe an hour? Maybe an hour.
A limit of white wing.
Yeah, a limit of white wing in an hour. But the reason why there were so many, you bring that up, because there was Eurasian collared dove, which are an invasive species, and there's no limits on those. Now, I'm going to say you got to have a good eye because you got to be able to tell the difference when you're shooting them because you don't want no green jeans showing up and you got too many.
Green jeans? I've never heard that before.
You never heard them called green jeans?
Did you learn that at El Patron?
No. I've heard that way before that.
I've never heard that before.
Green jeans.
The game wardens.
The game wardens, green jeans.
That's hilarious.
But you gotta be able to tell the difference so you don't get in trouble. But if you can, which you usually can, because the collared doves, they're going to be a lot bigger. They're going to be like a lighter gray color, and you, like I said, they stand out. Yeah, they stand out when they're flying with mourning doves, so you can pick them out.
He sent a picture of the dove wrangler, and I'm like, damn, those are some fat white wings. Like, I know they're big, but like those are that Lubbock white wings? He's like, no, it's Eurasian doves.
No,
like, okay.
Eurasian collared dove. So, man, there was way more of them than there were white wings or mourning doves. So, I mean, we were just shooting. And I mean, there'd be groups 8, 9, 10 coming in, and 6 or 7 of them would fall. So we were
because you're with a group they're sharpshooters.
Like all these guys shoot, and most of them shoot over and unders. There's not that many of them that are even shooting 12 or 20 gauge. Like Brandon was shooting 28. Tim was shooting 28. That doesn't surprise
me one bit.
There was some more 20s in there. Jet was shooting a 20 and a 12. I think he had a 410 too, a 410 side by side.
Nice.
And then I think Alan was shooting a 20. Yeah, most of them are shooting 20 gauge. So I mean, like they're good shots. Most of them all competed in sporting clays. Like that's another thing that we all kind of have in common too, is that we all competed in sporting clays growing up through high school, and then most of them shot in college too. So there, by no means is this like an average group of shooters. I'm the worst shot in this group. I can probably tell you that for sure, because they shoot a lot more than I do. But after we got done, it kind of got to the point where like we're kind of tired of shooting right now, and we had spread out in this field, and there was a group kind of farther to the east, and then a group of us was farther to the west. So I mean, we were spread out. So after we finished that hunt, we packed up everything, and I think I had like 24 birds, 23 or 24, something like that. And then we packed up everything and head back to the house, and everybody starts pulling up to the lodge. And I'll drop this video in the podcast for the people that watch the podcast, which all of you should. I'll drop this video in there, but we pulled up and we started laying all these dove out. And we started counting them. First, we put all the mourning dove, 15 apiece in a group, like your limit. I'm like, okay, so
the white wing or the mourning?
Well, the mourning and the white wing. Okay. So you could have 2 white wing out of the 15, right? So the 15, the white wing and the mourning dove combined,
right?
Started laying them out, and we started separating all the Eurasian collared dove.
Mm-hmm.
We got all of those figured out. We turned around and looked at the pile of collared dove, and we were like, "Holy cow!" So we put them into just groups of, what was it, 10? I think we started putting them in groups of 10. Dude, my nose is itching.
Me
right
too.
now.
I'm just trying really hard not to sneeze.
But we started sitting those out, and we started counting them up, and we had 18 shooters that day on that hunt, and we had 500 birds. That is by far the most.
And the thing is, it's so funny because most people don't even say anything about like, oh, how many limits is that? But at this picture, you're like,
I had some, when we posted, I posted comments. That video, there was a couple comments, and a couple people DM me and were like, hey man, you might want to, like, they're Eurasian collared dove. There's no limits on them. It's okay, guys. I appreciate it. Should have prefaced
that in the caption.
I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate y'all looking out
for conservation.
Looking out for your boy.
Which we get. We're the same way.
But, everything was all good. We were on the up and up, I promise.
Just invasive management.
Exactly. Yeah. But we wound up with 500 birds. So, which, like I said, is the most birds I've ever been a part of ever in my life. And I think it was the most birds ever killed on one hunt on an El Patron dove hunt. So that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So we still had, we weren't going to hunt Saturday morning. We were going to sleep in because the mornings weren't that great. So we still had Saturday afternoon, and then we were going to hunt Sunday morning before we left. So we still had 2 more hunts to go. And like after we started talking, we were sitting around eating and everything. And it's like, hey guys, let's try to break 1,000.
Oh Jesus!
Let's try to get 1,000 birds this weekend. We can do it. The numbers are there. If these Eurasian collared dove keep coming, we're gonna.
I mean, you were only one hunt in out of 3.
Yeah.
So
we can make it happen.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So that next afternoon, we were gonna go back to that same field, so we knew those collared dove were gonna be there. But that next morning, we woke up and had an awesome breakfast: bacon, egg, tacos.
You're not even a breakfast person.
When I'm hunting, I am.
Oh, okay.
And then every now and then when I'm at home.
Yeah.
But usually I don't.
Saturday mornings, that's about it.
Well, I mean, it's if I get good food, then I'm not going to pass it up, man. Like, I'm not going to pass it up. So we hung out around the house that day, worked on some photos and stuff, and that was pretty cool, just getting to talk. We watched some college football. They're all big Tech fans out there, so we were watching Tech and everybody else play that weekend. Then we got ready for that afternoon hunt, and we went back to the same field. This time I was hunting with Tim and Brandon and them. We got to take some more pictures of those guys. You can check out the post that I did. Like I said, I like hanging out with those guys and getting good photos of them, especially because a lot of them hunt with their kids or hunt with family members and stuff, so they'll get to have those pictures forever. And I like doing that for people. So especially when you invite me to go hunting. So wink, wink. Just saying, you invite me to go places, you'll get some good pictures. But got to hunt with those guys and shoot some birds. And, like I said, take pictures of them. And once again, this field was not letting up on the amount of birds that they had. And the Eurasians were coming in again. Jet was pretty funny. He was out hunting, Jet Thompson, which, oh, dude, I didn't even tell a story about his dad.
You just have so many things you need to tell.
Like I said, and so Jet, shout out Jet. The day before on that hunt, Tim had asked Jet if Jet's dad was going to come in and hunt with us. And Jet was like, man, I don't know. Let me call him. So this is like the ultimate. Speaking of Mr. Haston, listen here, boy. I want to be able to be Jet's dad one day. So Jet's dad is in San Angelo. Yeah. So San Angelo to Lubbock. He gets in his plane. He's got a private pilot's license. So flies over to Stanford. I
don't know why you're asking me.
One of the two. The airport.
There's a ton of tiny airports.
Right outside of Lubbock. And Jet picks him up, brings him out to the dove field. He shoots his limit of birds. And Jet takes him back to the plane, and he flies back home.
You literally called me just to tell me that.
I did, because it was the coolest story ever. The man left at 2:30 in the afternoon and was back home at 8:15 with a limit of birds that he just shot with his son, and was just like, all right, boys, I got to go back to work. Which, because actually he was supposed to be shearing lambs that day, and he was like, I'll put it off and I'll do it tomorrow and I'll come hunt with y'all. So that was the deal he made. But yeah, so back to Jet. He was out there with that 410, and I mean, he was shooting from the hip and knocking birds down. Jet's a pretty good shot, so it was pretty cool that afternoon getting to hang out with them, and then of course again another limit of birds, a little bit more with the collared ones. So this time we showed up to the house and we took field pictures that afternoon instead of taking them at the house like we did before. Yeah. And we wound up counting those up, and I think it was we didn't hit 500 again, but we were around 482, 484 or something like that. So on our way to 1,000 birds.
So 900 and something.
900 and something with still Sunday morning to go. Yeah. So once again, went back to the house, cooked food, clean dove, all that good
karaoke.
Stuff. We did have a little karaoke going, busted out the turtle boxes.
And normally it's so funny. I won't hear from Brandon. Like there's very many times where we'll be separated for a weekend. I was in Stillwater with my sisters, and I won't hear from him. He won't hear from me, and that's totally normal. This hunt, he had so many things like, babe, guess what? Or you'll never guess. Or this is so funny, I have to tell you right now. And this is the one weekend where that happens.
Yeah, because there's always something going on. I mean, last year it was us, or not us, but Jet and them popping fireworks under Tim's chair. Yeah. This year it was doing karaoke with Curtis on the turtle box. Yeah. Like it was, like I said, there's always something good going on this hunt, and it's just a lot of laughs and a lot of good people just having fun, man. And which that's what hunting camp should be. That's what we enjoy. That's the memories you have. Like, yeah, it was fun killing birds, but like, even if we wouldn't have limited out, if we wouldn't have shot 500 birds in a day, it has still been a good hunt.
I think that's why dove hunting is like such a good introductory, and I've said this before, to anybody who hasn't hunted before.
Yeah. I
mean, obviously you probably want to get them like used to the shotgun, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the worst part about it. But I mean, dove hunting, you can talk, it's not anything that's super serious or like, it's hard, it's difficult, like we said, but it's such a cool, like, brotherhood, camaraderie, fun, casual, relaxed, like experience.
Yeah.
It's something that's been a tradition in Texas for so long.
Yeah. And I mean, here
and for kids too, like young kids can come and do it.
You don't have to worry about being quiet necessarily. Yeah. They can see the birds and pick them up and play with the dog if you have one, all that good stuff. So, yeah, like
they're not on their iPad in the corner of a blind trying to tell them to be quiet.
Yeah,
it's different.
Exactly. But yeah, like we had fun that night. Woke up the next morning and bringing up green jeans again. We went to a different field for the last day, and we actually hunted dove at a winery.
No, I didn't realize it was at a winery.
Yeah, the last morning it was next to a winery, so that was pretty cool. Never hunted on a winery, so that was a first. But
a vineyard.
A vineyard?
Yes, unless it was the building.
Yeah, it was both. Like,
okay.
The winery.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they had I don't think it was their vineyard. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like they had some grapevines.
Don't get me into Texas wine because there's so many wineries that get shipped. Well, in West Texas, y'all be surprised how many vineyards are in West Texas that ship into the hill country. Like Texas hill country wine. I won't go on a whole tangent, but some vineyards or wineries.
Yeah.
Have vines for the
show. In which I think that's what this place was.
And they have the rest of their grapes supplemented from elsewhere.
Exactly. Because I was like, man, if y'all are just that don't look like enough grapes
for pictures
to be supplying enough wine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we hunted there that morning, and it's kind of close to the road. I mean, that other place was too, but it was just in a different spot, obviously. So the game warden did show up. He came by and checked us all. He was a nice guy. He was actually from Karn City, Texas, so down where I'm from.
Right?
Shout out.
Isn't he from there?
Avery.
Avery's from there.
Avery's from
Sorry, Avery.
Yeah, she's a Karn City Badger. But he was actually from down there. I got his name, but I don't remember it. But he's a good guy. Just came and checked everybody and went on about his business. So it was a good little.
It's always good to see that they're doing their job.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure it's my first
game warden? No, didn't we see them in South Texas one year? They came and checked everything.
Oh,
they just drove by.
They drove by.
To us.
They didn't come to us. They went to somebody else. That's right. So that was the first time I've ever had a game warden.
We've seen him at the dock for a fishing trip.
For fishing, yeah, but not for hunting.
Yeah,
not for dove hunting at least. So he came by that morning. the birds weren't as many as it was on the other field, but we wound up still getting a limit that morning, so after totaling it all, it was 1,222 birds in three hunts.
days. Or
yeah.
2 days. No, Friday,
Saturday, Sunday. So 3 hunts.
3 hunts.
Yeah. So 1,222 birds. I don't know how much beer. I don't know how much tequila. But
yeah, you came home and you don't even drink that much anymore. And he came home and I was like, well, how was the drive? He's like, oh. And laid on the couch and he was like, I drank last night and then I drank, I drank more than I usually do. And I was like,
I was feeling a little bit. I wasn't hungover. It's just,
just 2 nights in a row though of having
then being in the sun too and sweating and everything. It'll get you. Yeah. You'll want to take a good nap after it for sure.
You would have learned your lesson. At least it's not as bad as South Texas cramping on the way home.
Yeah, I wasn't all dehydrated. I was staying hydrated. I had Mountain Ops.
We're adults
Hydrate.
now.
I had Topo Chico. I was good. I wasn't gonna be that dumb. Yeah. I waited till we were back at the lodge before started pouring drinks.
But all in all, one of your favorite weekends of the year.
Definitely. It's already on the calendar for next year.
Oh yeah, and apparently since we have a son now.
Yeah, he's invited, but
he's
not
invited
later when he's old enough to go. He's invited.
To go. So I guess I have to come along at that point.
Maybe we'll see.
Oh come on now!
I'll talk to the board.
I can shoot. I can shoot very well.
I'll talk to the board. See what they say.
The board. Hey Tim.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, like I said, one of the highlights of our dove hunting season, and then it's over.
That was over just like that.
Off to other things, hopefully. Yeah. Which I know duck season started. So I don't know we're gonna do too much duck hunting. No. Jared went duck hunting the other day. He knocked down some teal. We posted about it. Oh, speaking of duck hunting. The last episode 42.
Oh, yes.
With Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois.
Duck camp dinners.
Duck camp dinners. I don't even know what I just said.
Duck camp dinners.
Duck camp dinners. His last episode of his series came out. So if you haven't, go back and listen to that podcast. Then go watch Duck Camp Dinners. All 3 seasons. And check out Chef Jean-Paul show. It's awesome. I'm going to tell you right now. Don't look at it with an empty stomach.
Oh, my goodness.
You should eat your dinner.
I don't know, because I was jealous of what he was cooking, and I was not eating anything that was anywhere close to that.
You got to see you got to watch it in certain, I guess, atmospheres. So either eating your dinner that you really, really wanted or just not on an empty stomach, because you will be hungry after watching this show. It is about hunting. It is about killing ducks, but it's more about
culinary geniuses.
Just cooking good food, hanging out in good hunting camps, and being around good people. So make sure you check out
Duck Camp culture. There's YouTube. So much culture.
Yep.
That's one of the coolest. Especially in the finale too. Like the finale had a really cool segment on the history of like Louisiana Cajuns. And, not just Cajuns, but also Creoles. Yeah. Yep. And like different types of French and different types of different Creole language, and it's very, very cool and educational as well.
Yeah. If you listen to the podcast I did with Chef Jean-Paul, we talked about how that his show has kind of really evolved, and it's brought on like new aspects that he is really having fun showing, especially with his friends, with the camps that they get to go to. Because like, for instance, when he first started it, it was just 22 minutes, designed to be on Outdoor Channel, things like that. Well, now it's like 48. There were some that were a couple 52 minutes. So it's a longer form. They have more time to show everything that's going on kind of behind the scenes and everything else, especially with Fluff Dog.
Oh, yeah, Fluff Dog.
Not telling you what Fluff Dog is.
No giveaways, but
I'm not giving away Fluff Dog.
Figure out who Fluff Dog
is. Season 3, you will figure out who Fluff Dog is on Duck Camp Dinners if you go watch it. And I'm just telling you, it's funny enough that you're going to go check it out and you're going to fall in love. So, Fluff Dog.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Put it in your mind. Don't forget it. Go watch Duck Camp Dinners.
As we're talking about bird hunting, dove hunting, duck hunting, waterfowl, other game birds, you guys may have noticed that some people, if you do hunt, you know what this is. If you don't, then you're going to learn something today. So if you ever see a post about a banded bird, that means on the leg of a dove or a waterfowl or any other game bird in the state of Texas or beyond, that is a trophy of sorts, right? So you're going to see some people who have them on their duck calls, they're on their lanyards, they'll wear them on their necklaces. And if you don't know what that is, it's not just a prize, but it's also a way for biologists to track data on these animals and for conservation efforts to be successful by tracking not only their migration patterns, but their population numbers, their mortality rates, how much they're breeding, you know, what their success rate is as far as like if they're migrating from Texas up. I mean, there's all kinds of different flyways that they're going to be doing ducks, depending on what they are, ducks, dove, different game birds as well. So if you get a banded bird, right, or if you have a friend that got a banded bird and they think it's just a trophy, make sure that you're also reporting that to those organizations so they can use that data, and you actually get a really cool certificate as well for having that banded bird. So reportband.gov is going to be where you can report those occurrences, and you'll be helping with those efforts and also have your trophy as well. So just something we wanted to pass along, that if you see that or if you don't know what that means, then now you know, and you can help with those efforts.
Yeah. So it's always important to give back, especially when we're hunting. And who doesn't want to have a couple bands?
Yeah, I do.
Bands make her dance, man. That's what Juicy J said.
Okay. Leave that in there. That's a Brandonism right there.
Bands to make her dance.
Juicy J.
Yeah. Along with that, kind of in that same vein of being conservation minded, Blood Origins came out with their new film, Lionheart. It's actually been out. It's been in a couple, film festivals and stuff, but it's finally been released for the public to see. So that's on YouTube. It's a great film about lion dogs. Yeah. And we all know we like hunting dogs around here, so we're going to support that. Go check that film out on YouTube. It's on Blood Origins.
There's been a lot of talk about mountain lions, and whether you are in the hunting community or not, you've probably seen something.
Yeah,
about the legislation,
about all the stuff going on in Colorado and other states as well.
Here,
things that are happening here in Texas.
We've talked about it before. So, there's lots of things happening here.
It's really important if you have friends in Colorado or if you have family members in Colorado that you talk to them about getting out to vote on Proposition 127, and definitely vote no on that, because essentially it's going to ban trophy hunting, which essentially means to them all hunting.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing.
This is a great educational piece, just to make sure you can tell somebody something, right, and be like, you should vote no on this. But if they don't have the actual information or understand the stories behind these families that are, making a living, and honestly, most of the data, the biggest thing I've learned, I won't tell it all, but is that a lot of the studies that they're going to be showing you in these cases are actually only possible by the dog hunters. Yeah. And so it's like, houndsmen. It's almost unfair that like they've helped provide all this data and now they're outlawing it altogether. It's a very great film, and it's well done. And being a cinematographer, like I can appreciate a lot of the things that they do. Definitely in that. It's beautiful.
Yep. And we've always supported Robbie Kroger and Blood Origins since the beginning, because I knew what he was doing was a good thing, and he's fulfilled that. Yeah. From here in Texas, they've done things to Colorado to over in Africa. Like, it's just another great organization, another great guy, and Robbie Kroger. But yeah, definitely go check out Blood Origins Lionheart film. You will not be.
Yeah, it's about 34 minutes. I mean,
it's a good film.
It's a nice
for
film.
Sure.
Yeah.
So make sure y'all go check that out and give them support. Share it with a friend, just like you share our content with your friends as well. Wink, wink. So after being on the road for pretty much 3 weekends in a row, going dove hunting, we had to then come try to scramble to get stuff together for whitetail season. As we mentioned,
were just a little behind.
just a little. We went out, we mowed a little bit, set up the feeder, put corn and some golden nuggets in there, and got the blind set up and everything.
And their berry block.
Yeah, the berry block
product that they love.
Got some cameras out, and they've been taking pictures.
I like how you worded that. We put the cameras up, and they've been taking pictures.
It's
just the subject matter.
What's on the pictures is not too exciting.
The most exciting thing is the fox.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool picture of the fox, but that's about it. There is a resident buck, 3 years now that we've seen him come in, and he's a little funky.
He's mature too.
He's a very thick-bodied deer. He's eating up all the corn, but because of antler restrictions, he is not legal to shoot. we're not on MLD on this property or anything like that. So follow the.
He's just
county
living the
rules,
life, man. Maybe
but he is.
1 year.
No, there's no way. There's no way. I'll
He's got
post a
something.
picture,
It looks like he got struck in the head with
but
lightning.
there's no way this deer
very messed up.
is ever going to be legal in his life. Like, he's going to die of old age or getting hit by a car. That's the only way. But that's pretty much the only deer that we have coming and showing up. There's a couple other little young bucks. We haven't even really seen any does.
No does.
No
Which
does
is weird
around.
because normally there's plenty of
there's
does.
a group of does that hangs out there, but they're not coming to the feeder. They're not coming to the block. And so I'm not sure how our deer season is going to look this year, but
I don't know, man.
We'll give it hell.
We'll hunt it.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be a matter of, I mean, we kind of changed the placement of the blind. We really changed the placement of the blind.
Yeah.
To help with our wind.
And the feeder.
Yeah. And so we're trying some new things. And
so we'll wait till it gets a little cooler. Maybe something else will start moving around and come by there. Like I said, we'll keep the cameras running.
There's been some decent bucks that come through. I think one of them was actually killed by the neighbor last year. We've talked about that one before.
Yeah, so that was the only real one. Like I said, the rest of the bucks, they're just too young. They're not big enough. They're not
we're hoping
legal
for
to
some
shoot.
Big body does.
Yeah, so some does to come through. Maybe bring in some other bucks from farther reaches or something. But
I still need my first deer kill with my bow, so I'm down for mature does for sure.
Yeah, just got to get them there and then get them there during the daylight. That's the next thing.
Yeah,
because as of right now we have no daylight pictures. We'll see what happens this deer season. Hopefully we'll get a little strike of good luck or something.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, getting that set up, we finally got a weekend at home. But we spent Saturday last weekend.
A weekend at home.
Yeah, weekend at home. We still went and did stuff, but we had our defensive pistol class. So a couple months ago, Megan and I both went and got our LTC, which is your license to carry here in the state of Texas. Of course, you don't need it because we have constitutional carry. But when you have your LTC, it kind of affords you some different things.
And you're also more educated on when and how to use your defense weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But biggest kicker for me is no more Nick's background check. Yeah. Because that is my Nick's background check. So when you have your LTC and you go to purchase a firearm, you hand them your LTC and that is your Nick's background check. So you don't have any delays. You don't have to wait. You don't have to come back later or drive home. Then they call you and say that you are approved. Nothing like that. So that was the biggest kicker for me for getting my LTC. And of course, getting a better education. So we did it through Control Pair LLC. Shout out Bob and Isaac. I actually work with Bob at Silencer Shop. So we did the class, and when you do the class with them, they offer a defensive pistol course along with the class for free. So if you're in the Austin area, hit up Control Pair LLC if you need a class. But great guys. They are very, very, very knowledgeable, and they will help you in the right direction. I'm still going to take more classes with them because I enjoy it.
And it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great teachers. Like, you can have people that are very skilled, very talented, know whatever topic that you're discussing or whatever, or trying to learn, but they don't know how to then pass that information along to other people. And I think Bob and Isaac do a great job of that. And even when we were in the LTC course, like, they know how to explain everything to you, but not overload you with information that you don't need.
Right.
So going through this defensive pistol course, we did concealed carry training. I mean, we learned non-dominant hand shooting with your dominant hand, like a bunch of different things that let you know really how good of a pistol shooter you are.
Yeah, I learned a lot about that.
Which I had been doing some dry fire practice and stuff before, not as much lately, but I had started doing that a couple months back, so that kind of helped me. But even then, I should have been doing it a lot more here recently, but I am now because they reinforced that's what you need to do.
Yeah. But
we got to shoot at pistols at distance. We got to shoot up close, like a lot of different scenarios.
That was wild to me. Was the up close, like if somebody's right in front of you within arm distance, like how would you pull your pistol and how would you be able to shoot from your hip? Like there's all kinds of, like, because you can't get your full, shirt up, pistol out, double handed out. It's not the same situation. So I mean, and I want to make sure that women know this too. Like, this for me was also an enjoyable experience. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that. It was unique to me as well. Like, we talked about shooting off of your non-dominant side if you're having to walk, or like we did backward steps, forward steps. I mean, it was a very cool course, and they were knowledgeable on both sides. And I'm thinking, like, we're about to have our baby. Like, I asked them all the questions about if I can't wear this pistol, further along into my pregnancy on me, what does that look like in a bag? Where should I have my magazine? That kind of thing. They had all that information, and they were willing to be like, hey, if you leave here and go off and find some products and you want to ask us before you purchase it, then we're more than willing to help you figure that out. So it was nice.
Yeah. And I will definitely say, obviously we're talking to like-minded people or people that are interested in firearms and hunting and fishing and stuff, but also on the side of preparedness and being able to protect yourself. We also want to, it's something that we're in the middle of going through ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we're going to share that information on the podcast. We'll do some videos and stuff, because by no means are we expert pistol shooters or, teaching classes or anything like that, but we're going to be going to classes to learn. And I mean, like you said, we're going to go to Controlled Pair and have them go through some more classes. So I will here pretty soon, but Megan probably won't.
I'm off the range for the next 6 months. So it was my last range day for a while. Some archery hunting for us.
So I'll go to a couple more classes, hopefully another one by the end of the year. And then if not, one right at the beginning of the year, I'm going to try to. But do that, like reach out. If you are in an area where you have defensive pistol courses or going to the range or anything like that, ask questions. I mean, it's always cool to learn new stuff. There's new technology, there's new firearms, there's new pistols, everything out there for you to check out. So if you ever think about that or have any questions, even reach out to us. We'll point you in the right direction. It will get you the knowledge you need if we don't know, or know at least where to start.
We've got a pretty good network now of, like, if we don't know the answer, we can point you in the right direction, like you said. To get you the right person to talk to.
And I really started carrying more after, being over here in Austin.
Yes.
And being downtown. I mean, it's not Austin's Austin. If you know, it's a great town, but there are some things that make you uneasy.
Self-awareness is key.
Yes.
Situational
awareness is key.
Even more key.
Especially around here. So it's something that we would like to advocate for anybody. Yeah. I mean, if you're in Houston, if you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, even out of state in other cities, like, situational awareness is a big thing. And we'll probably try to get Bob and Isaac. Maybe they'll do a podcast and kind of talk about that.
To. Yeah.
And get some experts on here so we don't have to, babble about it. But we can.
You know more than your average Joe.
Yeah, we'll give them a platform there where they can kind of talk about it and get some information out to y'all that are listening, especially if you want to do any kind of courses or anything like that. So, like I said, it was a great time learning that, and I'll definitely be going to work with them again.
And I'll be dry firing
ARs, everything. Yeah. So being able to use your weapons effectively is pretty nice, and going to the range is fun.
So that's 5 weeks in summary. Back to back to back to back. That's what we've been up to.
Yeah.
And next weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend we're off. We're here.
We're off.
Yeah.
But we're working on some videos and stuff. I'm working on this podcast. But this weekend we're here. Then next weekend you're off to our first
mentored hunt of the season.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you guys have been listening for any period of time or watching us on social, we both are also mentors for both the youth program and the adult learn to hunt program. And so the first one we have is I'm going just down the road to Marble Falls.
Yeah.
And they're doing a veterans adult mentored hunt. And so I'm pumped about it.
Yeah.
I also get to test out some of our gear for camping, because we're going to have to use tents and the bedroll. I'm glad I'm not further along, because it might be a little bit more interesting. But I will also have some other gear for clothing that I'm trying out as well. So you'll probably see a lot of that on social media. But regardless of all that, one of my favorite things to do outside of our own hunting is the mentored hunting. And sometimes I honestly enjoy it a little bit more, because I get to see someone else go through that experience and know that I'm part of that.
Yeah.
And so that's something we've been involved in the past 3 years. Brandon, you are going in November, right?
To Menard.
Yep. And both of those are going to be whitetail / hog hunting, depending on what comes out, but a lot of it has to do with when we'll say this, we're blue in the face. It's more about the camaraderie, the brotherhood. Like, we have fresh, and honestly, the meals are kicking up a notch every single year.
Yeah. Matt's doing his thing.
Oh my goodness. He has trainings now and like cooking, like to make sure that the chefs who are also volunteers, the chefs or the cooking team, I should say.
Yeah.
They bring in wild game recipes and they do trainings on that. So like, if you want to know how to prepare the meat that you're harvesting, you also get a training on how to butcher your meat. Or not, I shouldn't say butcher your meat, how to clean the animal and basically get your quarters cleaned up, and you get recommendations on where to take it, but you know how to break down your animal, how to use every piece if you want to. For us, we like to use every single piece of a whitetail, for example, the neck. I mean, we use all kinds of different pieces.
That's good stew.
Yes. So, I mean, that's one of the coolest things is like, it's a holistic experience from meeting everybody, getting to know how to hunt, what to look for, having a guide there and a mentor at the same time to provide that support of like, yes, this is safe. This is what you can hunt. Mm-hmm. There's no pressure on you as far as making any decisions. We highly, highly suggest if you are an adult who would like to get more involved with hunting, get ahead of the curve though. It's very popular. So we are excited to get it kicked off.
Yeah, it'll be fun. This will be my first time going to Menard, but hers should be pretty good hunting.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I am excited.
So last thing, we kind of want to put a little feeler out there. Let us know. We're thinking about doing a hat giveaway. Mm-hmm. One of the hats might be the one Megan's wearing. You're not getting this El Patron hat, so don't even try. But might be doing a hat giveaway. We're going to do something special for our podcast listeners.
If you made it this far, congratulations. You're getting an extra insight.
Getting a little extra insight. Mm-hmm. So if you go and leave us a review of the podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel, send us proof. Send us a DM on Instagram. You can send it to me. You can send it to Megan. Or you can send it to the Tejas page. We'll put you in for 2 entries for the hat giveaway. Mm-hmm. Just on social, you're just going to get 1 entry.
Yeah, so we're going to run it on social, and then you guys get extra.
Yeah, because you're podcast listeners, and we like y'all more. Not really, but everybody's equal.
You're more committed.
But you're more committed.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you being more committed. So, give us a review, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you're listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
I like how you said iTunes. It's Apple Podcasts.
Whatever.
iTunes.
It's all the same.
It doesn't even exist. It's Apple Music now. We're so old.
I use Spotify, so I don't ever.
I know. I don't even worry about it.
I don't even think it's not about being old. I just use Spotify, man. I'm not letting Apple get everything.
They do have quite a chokehold on us.
They're not having everything.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I said,
podcast on YouTube, on Spotify.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Send us a review. Send it to us on a DM, either my page, Megan's, or Tejas's, and you'll get 2 entries into the hat giveaway. We're going to give away 2 hats. So, get your entries in. We appreciate y'all watching and listening, and we want to give back. And we want to get some new hat designs too, but we're going to get these out to y'all right now. So, like, subscribe. Anyway, even if you're not entering, but then enter to get a free hat because we'll send it to you.
Send a review.
And we'll get a hat out to y'all. And I mean, if we get a lot of people, we might just give away more than 2. We don't know. Depending on how y'all act. We'll see. But thanks for listening to the podcast, guys. Go check out all our videos that we just dropped. Stewards of the Wild, Austin Dove Hunt, the Stewards of the Wild State Chapter Dove Hunt. I'll have El Patron coming here shortly. I'm sure Megan will do a little filming for mentor hunts. Yep. So we're going to have some content coming.
Hopefully we'll have some archery deer content as well.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes with this.
We'll keep y'all updated
situation.
On that. If you want to go see the buck we're talking about, Brandon posted about him.
Yeah, so on the Instagram. So
I think you're right. He's out there breeding all them does.
So. Yeah.
We're just going to have more of them.
More of them. Thanks for listening, guys. Another week on the podcast. Good luck this season. Tag us in your photos. We'd love to share them. And we'll catch y'all next week.
See ya.
Peace.